Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to solve a really interesting problem called domain operation simulator. So this is like building a mini version of DNS. Okay, so where we have some domain mapped to some IP, right? So let's look at the problem. We will need to create a function, okay, which will process a list of operations, right? And each operation can be of three types: put, get, count. Okay, so put will receive a domain and IP, so which we will either store or update for specific domain, and get will receive a domain for which we will need to receive return the associated IP address, or if it does not exist we will return 404. Okay, and the count here, count operation will receive suffix, and we will need to count how many stored domains ends with the given suffix. So let's look at the example. Apple.com matches www.apple.com also, and it matches jobs.apple.com also. So we will return the two count here, right? So we will need to return the result in an array, which, and we'll only need to push the result of get and count operation in the result array, right? Because for put we don't need to we don't have any result for put operation, right? So let's look at the example. So let's say I have these operations. Okay, first we will need to decide the data structure where we are going to store the domain and the IP. So this is key value pair. For key value we have an option of object, and we have option of map also, where we can store the data, right? So for here we will go with the map, because map is faster insertion and faster updation for large scale of data, because this DNS system will be having large scale of data. There will be multiple domains which will be having the IPs. So that's why we are going to go with the map here. It is secure enough, also better than the objects, so we'll go with the map. Okay, so let's see how we are going to do it. Okay, let me remove it. Okay, so I will have one data structure with the map. Okay, this is domain map. So I will loop through my operations, and I will check my first operation is put. Okay, if there is put operation, I will put the domain and the IP into the map. Okay, so this is D1 with the IP associated, right? Next operation is put. I'll put the jobs.d1 into the map with the IP, right? Their next operation is put again. There I have google.com. Okay, so I will put the google.com inside my map, right? The next operation is get operation. So get operation meta.com. I will check if it exists in the map. If it does not, I will create a maybe result array and push the 404 here for the get operation, right? Next is count operation. For count operation, I will need to check all the keys of the map. Okay, I will need to fetch the keys of map, and then I will check for each key if it ends with the given suffix. If it does end, then I will increase the count value, right? Otherwise I will not increase it. So here in this case d1.com has two domains, so result will be 2, and I will append it to result array, right? The next operation is count, which is only com. So com is having there are three domains which are ending with the com suffix. So I will attach the 3 value in the resultant array, and I will return the, because I have done all the operations, so I will return this result. So you got the crux of it. Let's see the time complexity also. Time complexity for put operation is of 1. we are just storing the data in the map. For the get operation, it is also O of 1, and the for count operation, it is O of n, where n is number of stored domains, right? So here the time complexity for count is O of n. We'll need to improve this, so we'll optimize it further. But before that, let's do the code for this simple approach. Okay. So first I need to create a map, domain map. Okay. And then maybe I will also create the resultant array, right? And I will loop through the operations. I will receive operations in this function as an argument, which is an array, 2D array, right? I'll loop through the operations. Then I'll check. I'll need to fetch the command, IP and domain, right? So the first value in the array will be my command. So let's see the arguments. It is a 2D array of string, and each row is in one operation, format per row. So this is the format for each operation: put domain IP, get domain, count suffix. So here at first we'll receive the command, which can be put, get, count, and second maybe it can be domain, or maybe I will use okay, arg1 I can use, arg2 I can use here for this. Okay, now I will check if my command is put. Okay, else if my command is get, and then the third I can take with the else, because we will be having only 3 operations. Okay, so for put I will need to set the value inside the map, right? Which will be, first key will be my domain and value will be my IP, right? This will override the existing, if there the key already exists, that will override the value for the existing key. The get operation, I will return the, maybe I will need to push the resultant for this get operation to the result array. So here I will get the value from the map if it does exist. Okay, I will need to pass the domain. If it does not exist, I will push the 404, right? For the count operation, let me create a variable for count, and I will need to fetch the keys of the map and then loop over it, right? So let domain of domain map dot keys, I can fetch the keys and then I will loop over it. Then I will need to check if domain, okay, ends with my suffix, right, which is arg1 in the count operation. If it does end with, then I will increase my count, right? And after the for loop, I will push the result to the resultant array. So maybe before pushing it, I will convert into a string. Okay, and then at the end of for loop of operations, once my operations are done, I will return my result. So this is the basic simple approach we have discussed. So this is the implementation for it. I have also created few test cases here, which I can run to test my code. Let me see if all are passing. So as you can see, all my test cases are getting passed. Okay, so let's discuss the optimize approach now. Okay, let's discuss the optimize approach. So for put, get and count, so what we can do for count operation, I need better optimized approach. Okay, with time complexity, maybe constant time complexity. So for that I will need to I will need to store the suffix count somewhere, right? So I will create a map. Maybe I will create another map with suffix count. Okay, suffix count. Okay, and whenever there is a put operation, I will update the count in the suffix count map, right? So let's say I have one put operation with www.d1.com, right? So this is my domain. So how many suffix are there in this domain? There can be 3 suffix in this. The complete domain is also a suffix, right? And then d1.com is also a suffix in this, and then com is also a suffix, right? So here we'll split based on the dot, and the parts, whatever parts we are getting, these all can be my suffix. So that I will do, I will split over it, right, with the dot. I will get the resultant array. Okay, my p1, part 1, part 2 and part 3. Then I will loop over it. And I will use the slice method here, because at first I will need to join all of them. P1, my first suffix will be P1, P2, P3. Second suffix will be P2 plus P3. So for this will be my first iteration, this will be my second iteration. For second iteration I need to remove this, so I will use the slice method and get this and join them. And then for third iteration I will have my suffix as the P3 only. Okay, and I will store this suffix into my suffix count. So this is my P2, P3, P1. So this is the count for it is 1. For P2, P3 suffix count is also 1, and for P3 is also 1. Okay, so next time if there is any domain coming as let's say d1.com or maybe jobs.d1.com, right? Then here my first will be jobs.d1.com, right? The first suffix it. Next suffix is d1.com, which is already existing in this. So I will increase the count to 2. So that's how we are going to do. We will store the suffix count in the suffix map in the put operation also, which makes the time complexity for get will be the same. Time complexity for count will also constant here, because we will get the suffix count from the map. And for put operation, my time complexity will be O of k, where k is number of parts in my domain, right? So these can be maximum maybe 4 and 5 parts in any domain. So we can consider it constant time complexity for put operation also. So this is my optimized approach here. So let's implement it. Let's try implementing it. So let me comment out the count operation as of now. For put operation, get operation will be same. For put I will do the new implementation. So let me create a suffix map here, right? So I have created one suffix map. Let me create a function which will add the suffix inside my suffix map. It will receive a domain, right? Okay, so for domain I will first need to get the parts. So I will split the domain based on the dot, right? I will split it, then I will run the loop through my parts, right? Parts dot length I plus plus. Okay, then I will need to get the suffix from that specific domain. That how I can get. I'll maybe parts is an array, and I will do the slice method on it, and based on the index I will do the slice, and then I will again join them using my dot. So there I will get the suffix, and I will add it into my suffix map. I will add it. Key will be my suffix, right? value will be my, if it is already exist in the suffix map, if it does exist with that suffix, then we'll do the +1. If it does not exist, we'll take the 0 and then we'll do the +1, right? So this is my add suffix, right? So let's go to the put operation. So we'll first check if domain map is already having that domain, because if it is already having that domain, then we have already added into the suffix map, so we don't need to add it another time, because we don't need to add it again. It is already added. That's why we are going to check if domain map has this domain, right? If it does not has, then only I will add the suffix, right? I will add the suffix for this domain, right? If it is false, then only I will add, right? And then I will set the domain map to arg1 and arg2, because if it is already having, then we don't need to add it, because we are only need to override the IP for that domain. We don't need to do anything with the suffix map. So put method is done. Get method will remain the same. For the count method, I will push the result to the here, and I will get the suffix map dot get. Will get with the key, which is maybe arg1 will be my suffix here, right? Otherwise, if it does not exist, I will add the 0. Maybe I will convert it the result to the string. Let's convert it into string. So this is it. This is the optimized approach we have discussed. Let's see this in test cases, and all my test cases are also getting passed here. So this is it. This is the optimized approach, and this is it in this video. See you in the next.